Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss about chapter 2 data abstraction, constructor and selector. In the previous video we discussed about what is meant by data, what is meant by abstraction and what is meant by ADT data types, abstract data type. Okay. Now in this video we are going to discuss about these two things. In the last video also we discussed the definition about constructor and selector. So constructor and selectors are functions. Constructor and selectors are functions. Constructor function is used to build the abstract data type. Selectors are the function that retrieve information from the data type. Okay, so in this example we are going to calculate the distance between two cities. For that we first construct the city object. Okay, we are going to construct the city object. If we want to make a city object, what are the content we need? We need a name of the city and latitude and longitude of the city. Okay, for that only we are using the constructor make city to create your object a city. Okay, here city is the object is equal to make city. Make city is a constructor. It requires the information about city name and then latitude and longitude. So this is a constructor. Okay, to extract the information of a city object, if we want to extract the information, that is what is the name of the city, what is the latitude and what is longitude, if we want to retrieve all this information, we can use the selector function. Okay, so selectors are the function that is used to extract or retrieve the information from the constructor, from the data type. Okay, abstract data type. Okay, now I can see what are the functions is used to retrieve the information about city. Here get name of city. So get name is the function is used to retrieve the name of the city, and get latitude is the function is used to retrieve the latitude of the city, and get long is the function is used to retrieve the longitude of the city. This three functions is known as a selector. Why this three functions is known as a selector? Because this three function is going to retrieve the information of the city name, latitude and longitude. So we call it as a selector. Okay, here we are going to build the object city, that is make city. Okay, so we call it as a constructor. Okay, you can understand what is the difference between constructor and selector. Constructors are the function is used to build the data type. Selectors are the function is used to retrieve the information. Okay, now I can see the pseudocode for compute the distance between two city object. So distance is the function pseudocode. What is meant by pseudocode? Can you able to remember? Pseudocode is nothing but this is also one of the intermediate language. That is before going to write your programs in programming code, we just write it down with the we just describe the steps. What are the steps needed to write the programs? That steps is known as the intermediate language. That is algorithm, flow chart, pseudocode. These are all known as the intermediate language. In pseudocode, we are using the plain text with the programming language. Okay, we mixed these two things. Plain text and programming language operators or symbols. The type of written statements is known as a pseudocode. Okay, so now you can see pseudocode for calculating the distance between two cities. Here distance is the name of the function, and then we are passing two parameters to this function, that is city 1 comma city 2 colon LT1, that is latitude 1, LG1, longitude 1, that is city 1 latitude, city 2 city 1 longitude is equal to colon equal to. Colon equal to is also known as belongs to, or we can also call it as assigned as. Okay, so how to pronounce this colon equal to? Colon equal to becomes the value of get latitude. That is, we can call this colon equal to as assigned as or becomes. Okay, so LT1 comma LG1 assigned as or becomes get latitude of city 1 comma get long of city 1, and then we are getting the city 2 latitude and longitude by this statement LT2 comma lg2 colon equal to get lat of city2 comma get long city2. These two statements are used to get the latitude and longitude of city1 and city2, and then return statement is used to calculate the distance, that is lt1 minus lt2. So latitude of city1 minus latitude of city2 power 2 plus longitude of city1 and longitude of minus longitude of city2. Okay, so this exponent to 2, so they are root, okay, 1 by 2. So we are calculating the values and return the distance between these two cities. Okay, now you can see constructors. So constructors are function is used to create an object. How you can create your object? So you can create your object by bundling together different pieces of information. Okay, so constructors create your object by bundling different pieces of information, and then selectors extract individual pieces of information from the object. So say this example, city equal to make city name comma latitude comma longitude. So these are the different pieces of information. So bundle these informations together to make a city. So we call it as a constructor. Okay, here make city name latitude comma longitude is the constructor which creates the object city. Now you can see name latitude longitude value passed as parameters to the constructor make city. Okay, here going to create a city by this arguments, by this values. Okay, so this is the constructor. So constructor is create an object by bundling different pieces of information. Okay, now you can see selector. We already know selectors are nothing but the functions. Selectors is also the functions. Why we need this? To retrieve the information from the data type. Okay, from this example, how many selectors are used? 3 functions. Okay, get name, get latitude, get longitude. So this function is used to get the name of the city, latitude of the city, and longitude of the city. Okay, so these 3 functions are known as the selector because these functions extract the information of the city object. So now you can see this diagram. From this city object we just retrieve the name alone. Okay, so this get name function is used to retrieve the name of the city from this object. Okay, and then get latitude function is used to get the latitude of the city. Okay, so from the city object we retrieve the information, that is what information you are retrieved here? You retrieve the latitude of the city. Okay, and then here we retrieve the longitude of the city. Okay, we are getting the information from this city object. You are extract the value of longitude. Okay, so these are the selectors is used to retrieve the values. Okay, now you can see one more example for constructor and selector. Here make point is the constructor. Okay, here make point is a constructor. This constructor is going to build a point. If we want to make a point, what we need? We need a x-axis, x and y values. Okay, we are passing 2 parameters x comma y. So x point and y point. We are making the point. Okay, so this constructor it return the value x comma y. So we already discussed, constructor means constructor made by retrieving information from the constructors as constructor bundling together different pieces of information. Okay, so see this constructor, how the constructors are built, bundling together different pieces of information. See this example, how the make city can be make point can be built. Here we are getting the information about those 2 pieces of information, that is x comma y. Okay, so different pieces of information bundled together to make a constructor. Okay, so if we want to retrieve individual information, which one you used? Selectors are used. Okay, selectors are used to retrieve the individual pieces of information. Here x guard of point. So this function is used to retrieve the values of the x point. Okay, so return point of 0, and then y guard of point. So this function is used to retrieve the y value of this city, makes a make point, okay, of this make point constructor. So y guard is a function is used to retrieve the value of y from this constructor, okay. So the functions used for retrieving the value is known as a selector. If you are making a function more than one individual pieces, that is bundling together, that is known as a constructor, okay. So bundling different pieces of information to make a function is known as a constructor. Is it clear? So here y guard function is used to retrieve the y value, okay, point y value and return point of 1. Okay students, now you can understand what is mean by constructor and selector and what is the difference. So in one more questions they will ask, they give some function's name. You can specify which is a selector and which is a constructor. Okay, now is it clear this two concept? Okay students, in the next video we discuss in the next topic. So now you can understand the concept of constructor and destructors clearly. Okay students, in the next video we see in the next topic. Thank you students.